Namaskar, good evening viewers. Welcome to Sansad TV. I am Rajiv Kumar Singh and you are watching our special program on P20, Speakers Summit taking place in Delhi. As you might be aware, the summit is taking place on Friday and Saturday, that is 13th and 14th of October at the Yashobhumi in Dwarka. On Thursday, a pre-summit event was organized on life, that is lifestyle for environment. In this program, we would be looking at the events of Thursday, 12th of October, or the pre-summit day. The Delhi Metro has rapidly become the lifeline for the citizens living in and around the national capital. Its airport line leads to Yashobhumi, the newly built India International Convention Centre, the venue for the 9th G20 Speakers Summit, also known as the P20. In recognition of the rapid strides India is taking towards better connectivity for its people, Lok Sabha Speaker reached the venue for the P20 Speakers Summit by a metro. There was also a message for greater use of public transport.
मेट्रो का सफर सभी यात्रियों से चर्चा करने के बाद लगता है कि सुरक्षित और जल्दी पहुंचने वाला सफर है। जितना सुविधाजनक, जितना जल्दी पहुंचना, जितना सुरक्षित, सभी आम यात्रियों से चर्चा करने के बाद लगता है कि मेट्रो किसी भी नगर के लिए आज की वर्तमान परिप्रेक्ष्य में आवश्यकता है। निश्चित रूप से इससे हम पर्यावरण को भी सुरक्षित रख पाएंगे, क्योंकि आज हमारी प्री समिट पर्यावरण पर है। इसलिए मेट्रो का उपयोग आम जीवन के लिए और आम व्यक्ति के लिए आज महत्वपूर्ण है। और मुझे लगता है कि जितने मेरे यात्रियों से चर्चा हुई, सब कहते हैं कि मेट्रो का सफर सुविधाजनक भी है, सुरक्षित भी है और अपने गंतव्य स्थान पर जल्दी भी पहुंचते हैं। तो क्योंकि कई यात्री तो डेली अप डाउन मेट्रो से करते हैं।
Yashobhumi is a sprawling center built across more than 73,000 square meters of area. Yashobhumi Convention Center boasts of having one of the world's largest MICE, that is, meetings, incentives, conferences and exhibitions facilities. Parliament is often referred to as the Temple of Democracy, and the custodians of those temples from the G20 and invited countries assembled on the land, which is widely accepted as the mother of democracy and also its largest modern stakeholder, India. The delegates were welcomed at Palash Hall, Grand Ballroom C, on the 6th floor of Yashobhumi. Life. The concept of lifestyle for environment was introduced by Prime Minister Narendra Modi at COP26 in Glasgow on 1st of November 2021, calling upon the global community of individuals and institutions to drive life as an international mass movement towards mindful and deliberate utilization instead of mindless and destructive consumption to protect and prevent the environment. Chairman of the 9th G20 Speakers Summit and Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla welcomed the delegates to the Parliamentary Forum on life. At the outset, the Lok Sabha Speaker alluded to the importance of the subject.
आज हम पर्यावरण के लिए लाइफ स्टाइल संबंधित प्री बैठक में भाग ले रहे हैं। आज पर्यावरण एक जलवायु परिवर्तन एक ऐसा विषय है जो संपूर्ण विश्व के साझे भविष्य के साथ जुड़ा हुआ है। इसलिए ये स्वाभाविक है कि पर्यावरण से संबंधित विषयों को हमने P20 सम्मेलन की चर्चा के केंद्र में रखा है। भारतीय संस्कृति और पर्यावरण में पर्यावरण को मानव जीवन का अभिन्न हिस्सा माना गया है। प्रकृति को आदर सम्मान देकर हमेशा हमने हमारे संस्कारों को इसी फलीभूत में हमने पर्यावरण और जलवायु परिवर्तन की प्रकृति को इस दृष्टि से देखा है। हमारे प्राचीन ग्रंथों में कहा गया है कि जो प्रकृति की रक्षा करता है, प्रकृति ही उसकी रक्षा करती है, और यही पर्यावरण संरक्षण की मूल भावना भी है। बदलते परिप्रेक्ष्य में आज दुनिया का कोई भी देश जलवायु परिवर्तन के दुष्प्रभावों से अछूता नहीं है। हम विश्व के समक्ष उपस्थित चुनौतियों से अवगत हैं, इसलिए इस दिशा में ठोस प्रयास आज के समय की मांग है।
The speaker then emphasized the importance of reduce, reuse and recycle.
Your Excellencies, पर्यावरण संरक्षण के विषय पर भारत के माननीय प्रधानमंत्री माननीय श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने पर्यावरण के लिए लाइफ स्टाइल का विचार विश्व के समक्ष रखा। मिशन लाइफ स्टाइल पर्यावरण संरक्षण का व्यापक दृष्टिकोण है, जो प्रत्येक व्यक्ति को अपने जीवन में रिड्यूस, रीयूज और रिसाइकिल व्यवहार अपनाने की प्रेरणा देता है। इसलिए हमें आज एक ऐसी जीवन शैली, एक ऐसा दृष्टिकोण अपनाने की आवश्यकता है जिसमें हमारे पर्यावरण को नुकसान न पहुंचे। यह हम सबका व्यक्तिगत और सामूहिक दायित्व है। लाइफ स्टाइल मिशन ने हमें जलवायु परिवर्तन, सतत विकास, स्वास्थ्य सुरक्षा, खाद्य सुरक्षा, ऊर्जा सुरक्षा जैसी समकालीन चुनौतियों से निपटने का एक नया मार्ग दिया है। आज ये विचार एक वैश्विक आंदोलन बन गया है। इस विचार को आधार मानकर आज अलग अलग देशों में अपनी भौगोलिक एवं सामाजिक एवं आर्थिक स्थिति के अनुसार नीतियां एवं कार्य योजना भी बनाई जा रही है। पर्यावरण के लिए लाइफ स्टाइल विषय पर भारत की संसद में भी व्यापक चर्चा हुई है। आवश्यकता होने पर कानून भी बनाए हैं, लेकिन जलवायु परिवर्तन की समस्या केवल नीतियां एवं कानून बनाना ही पर्याप्त नहीं है, बल्कि हमें सबको अपनी दिनचर्या में बदलाव कर सामूहिकता से योगदान देने की आवश्यकता है।
Sherpa of India's G20 presidency, Amitabh Kant, moderated the session on live.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's important that we take this approach forward, because it's important that we are able to push our choices towards sustainability. We are able to grow and industrialize without carbonizing the world. We are able to provide a huge last mile to achieve sustainable development. We are able to provide a strong political impetus through ambitious actions for achieving development, environment, and climate goal. We are able to support creation of a sustainable ecosystem and mainstream sustainability of all components and all aspects of the economy. Ladies and gentlemen, this means that it is a call for all of us to become pro-planet people by adopting climate-friendly behavior. As a citizen, this is important. As an entrepreneur, it is a call for technological ideas that can make climate-friendly behaviors easier to adopt. To all the thinkers, researchers, it is a call for research innovations on how to make climate consciousness a way of life. This has been a part of ancient India. It has been a part of our Rig Veda, our Yajur Veda, and our Charak Samhita, which speaks of trees stopping pollution, of not disturbing the sky, and the importance of forests to the strength of the state. It is important to highlight that our Bhagavad Gita states that let the human community protect the environment for their own survival, and therefore there is a need for a call for action.
Environmental degradation and climate change are global phenomena where actions in one part of the world impacts ecosystems and populations across the globe. Estimates suggest that if requisite action is not taken against the changing environment, approximately 3 billion people globally could experience chronic water scarcity. The global economy could lose up to 18% of GDP by 2050. Over the last 2 decades, several macro measures have been implemented globally to address environmental degradation and climate change, including policy reforms, economic incentives, and regulations. According to the United Nations Environment Programme, UNEP, if 1 billion people out of the global population of 8 billion adopt environment-friendly behaviors in their daily lives, global carbon emissions could drop by approximately 20%. This signifies the importance of life. After the introduction of the subject, a short film on life was screened.
Lifestyle for Environment is a call to action that was enunciated by the Honourable Prime Minister at Glasgow in COP26. And he spoke about the need for all of us to come together and take Lifestyle for Environment forward as a campaign and make it a mass movement towards an environmentally conscious lifestyle. And this call to action was followed by the unveiling of Mission Life last year, along with the UN Secretary General in October 2022. The Ministry of Environment has then taken forward this action in the form of a mascot. And this little girl who you see on the screen before you is called Prakriti. And she carries forward sustainability messages on life. I would like to present it in the form of this small video.
My dear Prakriti, remember what you have to do on earth?
Yes, Mother. I will educate people with love so that they understand mission life and maintain the environmental balance by adopting environment-friendly lifestyle.
My child, these 3 things will help you on your journey. First is the tiara of flowers. This will keep you happy and energetic. Second, this badge of life, which will remind people of life, lifestyle for environment. You can also give this badge to people who contribute for the betterment of our planet. And third, this bag of hope. Whenever someone harms the environment, you can take out eco-sustainable alternatives from the bag and inspire them to adopt Mission Life.
Okay, Mother. Now I will leave for my mission life. There's one life, but there's one mission. It's all work for environment, rejuvenation, beloved planet's protection. Adopting environment-friendly lifestyle is our ambition. Say no to single-use plastic. Let's use stairs instead of lift. Save water, segregate waste, reduce overconsumption and reuse again. Together we can, together we will, together we will achieve this ambition. There's one life, there's one mission. Let's all come for environmental rejuvenation, beloved planet's protection. Let's choose life for Green Planet Vision.
The 2022 Mitigation of Climate Action Working Group 3 contribution specifically talks about the need to reduce global GHG emissions by using and adopting socio-cultural and behavioral changes. Similarly, the International Energy Agency has done a deep dive and a study about the impacts of these behavioral changes, and they have come out with some extremely important recommendations. If such behaviors and such choices are made by individuals the world over, by 2030, we would have reduced 2 billion tons of GHG emissions. Around 60% of emission saving by life measures could indirectly be actually encouraged by governments. And the reduction of per capita CO2 emissions in advanced economies will be 3 to 4 times greater than developing economies.
Few short messages related to life were also streamed. As the Indian Prime Minister often says, if we are able to live our lives according to the needs of the environment, it would lead to a far better world than what we are inhabiting today. Parliamentarians from across the world came together to deliberate on strategies for advancing sustainable lifestyle and combating climate change at the pre-summit, the Parliamentary Forum on Life. Let us take a look at this report.
Before the inauguration of the G20 Parliamentary Speakers Summit on October 13th, a pre-summit event, namely the Parliamentary Forum on Life, Lifestyle for Environment, was held at Yashobhumi Dwarka, New Delhi. The Forum on Mission Life precedes the 9th edition of the two-day P20 Summit. The Life movement, initiated by Prime Minister Narendra Modi in June 2022, is a worldwide endeavour dedicated to advocating sustainable lifestyles and safeguarding our environment. Taking part in the pre-summit event, IPU President Dwarti Pacheco asserted that climate action must begin at home. He also supported the Modi government's mantra of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas.
Climate action must begin at home. Also inside our parliaments, where we can reduce a lot of costs. For instance, reduce the carbon footprinting institutions, and in a particular point of view, we can also use greener energy inside our homes. We can save by new technologies, try to avoid the waste of paper. So inside our own parliaments, we may lead by example, because it's very difficult to express to the society to do it, and we don't do at home. We should lead by example. And the Parliament of India and IPU have various other shared aims and values, such as unity and in diversity, empowering women and acknowledging the power of youth. Above all, both the IPU and India strongly believe in multilateral parliamentary diplomacy to ensure that countries work together to address common issues and challenges. We saw that you have a title for this meeting, One Earth, One Family, One Future. And this is something that we should always put in practice. I believe that the pandemic showed to all of us how small is our world. A small virus that is impossible to see with our own eyes, one day appear somewhere in Asia, and just in a few weeks, affect all of us, all countries, North and South, rich and poor, all continents, in America, in Europe, in Asia, in Africa, because we are a small world. And if you are a small world, we should work as a family to fight against all the problems of humankind.
Australian Speaker of the House of Representatives, Milton Tick, said that through community-led initiatives, we can make significant achievements and environmental improvements for our future generations.
Community-led initiatives can realise significant achievements and environmental improvements for future generations. In Australia, citizen scientists are supporting a broad range of environmental projects from rivers and oceans to land and urban areas. In my home state of Queensland in Australia, the Blueprint project was developed in response to community concerns about a decline in water quality. The project is increasing community understanding of water quality and reef health in the Whitsundays in tropical Australia. A citizen-led science research project in the state of Victoria is assisting to understand the presence of microplastics on Australian beaches. While AusMap is a coalition of school students, environmental groups and universities and educators who are working together to gather critical data on Australian waterways. Collectively, this work is enabling communities and government to implement behaviour change, regulate industry, and develop better waste management systems.
Addressing the event, Bangladesh's Parliamentary Speaker Shireen Sharmin Chaudhry maintained that land degradation has reduced the productivity of 23% of the global land surface. She said P20 must focus on tackling these issues. Parliament of Bangladesh is one of the special invitees for the P20 summit.
Distinguished delegates, we have gathered here at a time at the P20 summit in a critical period, post-pandemic period, when our very existence and survival is threatened by climate change. In order to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees centigrade, global GHG greenhouse gas emission will have to be reduced by 43% by 2030 and reach net zero by mid-century. Between UNFCCC COP21 2015 and COP26 2021, the world extracted 70% more virgin materials, minerals, oils, fossil fuels and biomass than what Earth can regenerate in the same period. This exploitative resource extraction has caused degradation of terrestrial and marine environment, biodiversity loss and ecosystem pollution, directly harming economic avenues, lives and livelihood. 23% of global land area is no longer productive for agricultural use. Ocean warming, rise of sea level affecting human survival.
Speaker of the House of Representatives, Nigeria, said, escalating climate crisis underscores the urgency of climate action.
The escalating climate crisis underscores the urgency of action, an imperative that extends not only to the government but also to businesses, civil societies, and every individual. Right Honorable Speakers, climate change impacts the developing countries in various ways due to their greater vulnerabilities and lesser capacities to adapt. Nigeria, Africa's most populous and diverse nation, faces specific challenges due to climate change.
United Nations Resident Commissioner for India noted only 15% of the Sustainable Development Agenda 2030 are on the track.
We, the world, convened at what is sometimes called a parliament of sorts in New York at the UN General Assembly just a few weeks ago. And the news was distressing that the Global Sustainable Development Goals, our path towards a prosperous world by 2030, are badly off track. Only 15% of global targets reasonably moving forward. Fully 1/3 either stalled or in reverse. But dear colleagues, I would submit that there are reasons to be optimistic. And I would like to focus on three reasons, three streams of optimism, all of which have very much to do with our discussion today. That is this forum, and that is India. First, I would commend the Indian G20 presidency for its leadership and for the partnership of all of the G20 member states and invitees here, which produced a G20 so aligned with the Sustainable Development Goals that I like to call it an SDG 20. We saw incredible focus on accelerating the progress on the SDGs. We saw a new G20 SDG action plan. We saw focused support to the SDG summit and ahead to the summit of the future. We commend the strongest focus on climate action, on the Green Development Pact, on the first ever disaster risk reduction working group. We applaud the ambition on the gender equality, on women's economic empowerment, on the role of women in leadership in development.
The Pan-African Parliament also participated in the P20 summit for the first time after the African Union became a G20 member at the New Delhi G20 Leaders Summit held in September.
I stand before you not only in my capacity as acting president of the Pan-African Parliament, but I am here on behalf of the united voice of the people of Africa. On behalf of the entire 1.4 billion Africans and my own behalf, let me take this opportunity to thank members of G20 countries for admitting the African Union as member of G20. We are also making history today by being a member of this August Assembly. Thank you for this great honor.
It is true that environmental degradation and climate change are a global phenomenon where action in one part of the world impacts ecosystems and populations across the globe. As such, and most significantly, changing individual and community behavior alone can make a significant dent in an environmental and climate crisis. It is thus appropriate to commend the leadership of India for placing the concept of lifestyle for environment on the global agenda since 2021.
Speaker of the National Assembly, Mauritius, spoke about India's initiative for the environment.
This forum is of crucial importance as it addresses one of the most pressing challenges of our time, the environmental crisis. Project LIFE, short for Lifestyle for Environment, was unveiled in October 2022 by Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres in Kevadia, Gujarat. The initiative recognizes communities which practice environmentally conscious lifestyles as pro-planet people, the P3, and seeks to leverage these practices to build a sustainable ecosystem based on the principle of reduce, reuse, and recycle.
Indonesian MP spoke about the efforts taken by his country to promote green economy and accelerate energy transition.
As the largest archipelagic country in the world, Indonesia is proud to have abundance of all natural resources at both our land and sea. Our constitution mandated that all these potentials are meant for improving people's lives and welfare. All efforts must be in line with the commitments to safeguard natural resources, and most importantly, it must be socially inclusive. We also continue to promote a green economy-based development in all national efforts to achieve SDGs.
Delegations from Brazil, Russia, and invitee countries also attended the event.
Deputy Chairman of Rajya Sabha, Harivansh, on Thursday said that the Lifestyle for Environment initiative is not confined to the boundaries of any one nation, but a global movement. He was delivering the concluding remarks at the Parliamentary Forum on Life as part of the P20 Forum.
Collectively and individually, therefore, we need to be mindful of the fact that every small action counts and every individual matters in our fight against the challenges of the climate change. The LIFE initiative is not confined to the boundaries of any one nation. It's a global movement, reminding us that the fate of our planet is inseparably linked to the choices we make every day. Let us be the guardians of our environment and the torchbearers of a sustainable legacy and regenerative future.
That is all we have in this program. Keep watching Sansad TV. Good night.